3, 2, 1, fight!
Wait, hold on, this is not how this story has started. In this video, I will do my best to answer the question that has dragged so much attention in the poker world. How much would a solid NL500 regular actually lose in a 3-max against Stefan and LLinusLLove? I will share some insights from the high-stakes reg war arena and explain where the win rate comes from, so you can apply these ideas to your own games and have a better understanding what lineups to play and what to avoid. But let's go back to the story. It all started on Twitter and a heated debate between two fellow poker players and coaches. George, who is known as You Met Bro on PokerStars, and Saulo, a Brazilian poker coach who has created the most engaging poker channel on YouTube. While I might not align with some of his technical strategies, I consider him the pioneer in making poker content not just informative, but genuinely entertaining. So, big respect for that. George posted a tweet sparked by a couple of bold claims from Saulo. One, that in a 3-max match against the world's best online poker players, it would be impossible for one of his NL500 students with a presumably deep understanding of poker to get crushed. And 2, the skills of the high-stakes poker players are overestimated. The debate has been getting increasingly heated, with each side trying to prove the other wrong, using graphs, stories, or examples from third parties. On one side we have Saulo, who is very confident that the difference between world's best and one of his solid NL500 students is quite small, also asserting that he himself would feel very comfortable playing in any lineup. On the other side, we have George and a few active high-stakes players arguing that the presumed NL500 regular would get crushed, facing a loss rate of more than -8 big blinds per 100. So how can there be such polarized views between two camps, each considering themselves highly competent? I will not delve into the entire discussion here, but you can find the link to it in the description below. Here is an interesting observation though. It's often seen that players who don't play the high stakes might overestimate the impact of variance, using it as a convenient rationale for not advancing higher. On the other hand, players actively engaged in these stakes sometimes might underestimate variance role and overestimate their skills. Of course, this isn't true for everyone, but it's a trend that can offer some insights into the psychology of poker at different levels. Instead of delving into the graphs and statistics, we'll explore the crucial nuances that have been neglected. In my opinion, these could be the decisive factors in a high-stakes match between an NL500 regular, Stefan and LLinusLLove, should it actually take place. Factor number 1. Loss rate in reg wars against the same opponents will be significantly higher compared to the 6-max games. Professional bomb hunters who only play with the fish at the table can get away with many flaws in their strategy because they encounter rather basic exploits by their opponents. They might even perceive their loss rate against the top regulars as insignificant. However, once they start participating in the reg wars, they would become targets for meticulous study, analysis and individual exploits by the current strongest table starters, leaving no place to hide their weaknesses. Factor number 2. Win rate against the GTO trainer or a GTO bot is a highly inaccurate measure of players' skill. One of the arguments provided was that a group of NL50 to 200 students had played over 700k hands against the GTO bots and they were not crushed. No win rates were given, but the message suggests those players were losing around 5 to 6 BB per 100. This seems to imply that even top high-stakes regulars wouldn't win by much more. However, this assumption overlooks several key flaws. First, achieving such a win rate against a machine isn't as difficult as it might seem, for a couple of reasons. A. It always follows a standard strategy, keeping you within a familiar comfort zone. B. It never maximally exploits your weaknesses, which is essentially what distinguishes the best players. C. It trains your brain to recognize incorrect patterns, leading to costly mistakes in actual games. For instance, a GTO trainer might bluff in situations where real players typically would not. Start playing like that in the real games and you will soon understand why there have never been any successful GTO bots at the tables, only the exploitative ones. until they got caught, of course. Picture an NL500 regular spending hundreds of hours training with a GTO trainer that always uses the same bet sizes and maintains perfect balance without exploiting his weaknesses. Now imagine this player facing real opponents who mix up their pre-flop 3-bet sizes, choose to check in spots where solver always bets, overbet all the time, leap on the button, and employ other unconventional strategies. Do you really think they will stick to the player's comfort zone, allowing him to use his memorized strategies? Factor number 3. Don't forget the deep stacks. I've already mentioned what makes the best players best. Now apply the deep stack play that will start within the first hour of the match, and you can multiply the cost of each mistake that NL500 reg will make. Factor number 4. Psychology and experience account for at least 50% of the win rate. Psychology and experience are crucial elements, and I'm surprised they were overlooked amidst the flood of statistics and data. For anyone who has played at high stakes or staked other players, the profound influence of psychology is undeniable. I've witnessed many solid NL1 and 2K players struggle in high stakes games, failing to deliver their best performance and committing simple errors they typically avoid. The idea that an NL500 regular could sell most of his action and still play his best game at an NL10K table against two world's best players is, to put it mildly, very optimistic. Now, regarding the actual win rates in reg wars, it's impossible to pin down precise figures using math or statistics alone. Therefore, I'll share estimates based on my and my friends' long experience with high-stakes games. The top players usually have an advantage like this, even with the rake. 2-3 BB per 100 when playing against the other regulars who start tables at the same level, from 3 to 5 big blinds against average players who do not start tables, from 5 to 7 BB per 100 against weak regulars targeting easy games, if their play hasn't been analyzed. Adding a solid NL500 regular to the mix who joins to play with the fish, my estimate is that he would lose about 5 to 6 BB facing the top 2 players who haven't specifically prepared for him. But in a structured challenge requiring a set number of hands in a 3-max game with 2 end bosses, I'd predict these NL500 players' losses could range from -6 to -10 BB per 100. A more likely outcome though would be... By the way, this discussion got so popular that it was posted on Russian-speaking poker forum and even Truteller couldn't pass by. Time for the key takeaways. Takeaway number 1. GTO is not the most profitable strategy. It is what you try to play when you have no idea what to do against the given opponent. 2. Understanding your EV against other players is one of the key skills when starting tables or shorting higher stakes. Takeaway number 3. Psychology and experience matter just as much as the technical skills, and sometimes even more. Dear friend, if you found this video interesting, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It would help me a lot and motivate to make more videos. Signing off, this is Jacer, keep grinding, keep growing, and who knows, the next high stakes crusher could be you. Until next time.